Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back for the Pittsburgh Steelers analysis and preview of the Steelers Week 5 game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Know it's been a little while since we last talked. Steelers coming off the sudden Week 4 bye week with the chaos that was the Titans game, but let's go ahead and preview this Sunday's game at Heinz Field, the first with fans. 5,500 fans will be in Pittsburgh on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. Taking a look at this Eagles team, I know the record is not very pretty at 1-2-1, somehow good enough to lead the NFC East, but I think they are better than the record indicates. They've been plagued by injuries. They aren't a whole lot healthier this week, granted, but maybe a little bit. But overall, with the Eagles offense led by Carson Wentz, he has not played well, but has not had a lot of weapons to work with. The line's been beat up. The receivers are hurt. They're still hurt. Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson will not play this weekend. But overall, I think they have a good scheme led by Doug Peterson, their head coach. Their run game is varied. It's led by Miles Sanders. He's playing well this year when he's been healthy. He missed the opener, but has played well in the 3 games since. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, and they just run a lot of variety when it comes to the run game. Whether you want wham blocks, which is a tight end ear holing and down blocking a defensive tackle, a one tech or a three tech. They run bash, which is a backside backside sweep, I should say, away from pulling guards. They run read options. They're getting Jalen Hurts, their second round pick, involved. He's getting used in some gadget situations and some specialty run situations. So there's a lot to deal with when it comes to the Eagles' run game. They really want their linemen to get to the second level to cover up these linebackers, and they can counter, I think, some of these penetrating defenses like what the Pittsburgh Steelers have pretty well. It's a feast famine approach, and obviously Pittsburgh's had the best run defense in football through their first 3 weeks, but I think solving and continuing to do well against the run, especially versus this Eagles team, is going to be critical on Sunday. When it comes to the Eagles' pass game, again, the receivers are really hurting. I mean, there are not a lot of recognizable names out there. We're talking Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. It's just not a lot of names with Djax, especially being out. That one was a surprise. I thought he was going to play this weekend. But what I do have is a lot of talent at tight end with Zach Ertz, with Dallas Goddard. They're going to get those guys involved. And again, schematically, I do think they're pretty sound. They run the sail concept, and I'll try to put up some clips of it on screen right now, which is a three-man combination of a vertical clear out route, a corner route, and a flat route, a three-level combination to kind of stress a defense, give a quarterback an easy high-low type read, which is what Denver did well with Noah Fant back in week 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so I think the Eagles will see that on tape and try to exploit that again. So schematically, they scheme it up well, and they have to scheme it up well because they are hurting at receiver, but they have some weapons in Ertz and Goddard, and the backs can catch. And Wentz is still a good quarterback. He's just been under a lot of pressure, and that's the big thing about this Eagles team and Eagles offensive line. Lane Johnson, the right tackle, should play. He's been battling an ankle injury, but a left tackle, Jordan Mailata, making his second career start, did okay against the 49ers, but overall, Bud Dupree versus left tackle Jordan Mailata is going to be the real matchup to take advantage of if you're Pittsburgh in this defense. And Carson Wentz has been sacked 14 times already this season, so every reason to believe this pass rush led by Watt and Hayward and Tuitt and Dupree and the schemes that Keith Butler can conjure up should get after Carson Wentz this weekend. Defensively, for the Eagles, it's all about that front four. They're a strong pass rush unit. They're a 4-3 defense. They have a lot of rotation. They keep guys fresh. Reminds me a lot of what the Bengals defensive lines look like in past years, where they just kept rotating in fresh legs, and that's certainly always going to be an advantage for a defense over an offensive line that never, of course, gets to sub out. So they have 17 sacks this season. That's first in football, despite not blitzing a lot. They're 26 in blitz rate, so they're getting home with 4. They're dropping 7. That's going to help a linebacker and secondary core that has struggled. Along the defensive line, you have Brandon Graham, who's been around forever, playing at a high level. Fletcher Cox has always been. David Castro's kryptonite. Josh Sweat's kind of having a Bud Dupree type breakout season. Sweat had 4 career sacks his first 2 years. He's tied with Graham for the team lead with 3 sacks already this season. Of course, it's Javon Hargrave, former Steelers defensive lineman who missed the start of the year with a pec injury, is not back in that rotation. So 10 different Eagles have played defensive linemen have played at least 15 snaps this season. So there's a real deep rotation there. They keep legs fresh, and they can definitely get after the quarterback. Unfortunately for the Eagles, everything behind that defensive line is a question mark. The linebackers have not played well. Nate Gary, number 47, has been the scapegoat. He's like the old Will Gay of the Eagles defense. So Will Gay was always the guy that fans pointed the finger at. Nate Gary's been that guy for Philadelphia. They've given him a lot of big plays at tight ends. George Kittle went off for 15 catches, a buck 83, a touchdown last Sunday night, and the Eagles come from behind victory. Tyler Higbee in week 2 for the Rams caught 3 touchdowns. Logan Thomas in the opener for Washington had a touchdown. So I think Eric Ebron, even Vance McDonald could have success against those guys. The secondary's had injuries too. Avonte Maddox, former Pitt guy, he's not going to play. They've not had a lot of success in the secondary. They've given up some chunk plays, so certainly you can pass on this group. I think the tight ends will certainly be a focal point for Pittsburgh, and that's kind of the mismatch you want to exploit. Eric Ebron on Nate Gary or those linebackers. That's what Pittsburgh can win in the pass game. Last note for the Eagles special teams, I think they're pretty good, especially their punter, Cam Johnson's having a great season. He's third in net average, he's third in gross average, so that's a punt unit working together, the punter and the coverage unit. And obviously Pittsburgh's punting unit has been among the worst in football, unfortunately, through the first month of the season. And so from a field position advantage, coming into this game at least, Philadelphia has the advantage. All right, for my final prediction this Sunday kickoff at 1 o'clock, I have the Steelers winning the battle of the Keystone State 27-21. I think it will be a relatively close game because the Eagles pass rush can certainly make an impact, and I think their offense is a little better than the way it looks and the way it's constructed right now. But again, with all the injuries Philadelphia is dealing with, their offensive line beat up, I think that does give the Steelers the advantage being at home. Of course, certainly helps Pittsburgh at well, getting to play in front of their home crowd for the first time will certainly energize this team, and I think that ultimately puts the Steelers to 4-0 finally after that sudden week 4 bye week last week. So that is my prediction. We'll see if it comes true. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about who's going to win this game, what the keys to this game are, and how the Steelers have to play and who has to play well for them to move to 4-0 on the season. We'll be recapping this game tomorrow after the game sometime in the afternoon or the evening, so be on the lookout for that video as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.